Alrighty. Goodness. Holy crap. Just come in here. Alright, so I'm having some problems with my internet. And I want to apologize first and foremost if we get disconnected. Because just stay refreshing the screen basically. If it gets disconnected, it'll kind of start back up again. If it gets disconnected completely, I'll try to do a whole new stream. But I do apologize first and foremost. Blame Time Warner Cable because Time Warner Cable is garbage, and I have the highest speed I can possibly get for it, but it is really really bad. so, so yeah. So I just got back. I've had a long weekend because it was my birthday Saturday or Thursday. I'm sorry, and my wife has been doing all kinds of sorts of stuff for me since Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I even had something planned for tomorrow. The woman is nuts. She loves me, I guess, but yeah, it's been nuts. So I haven't been able to respond, and also YouTube has some kind of glitch going on where every time I try to reply to comments, it won't let me send it. Like, it won't let me enter it. So look for your name. If you've made comments, look for your name and check to see if I've responded, or I'll just try to at you in the comment section because it's been really rough this week with comments. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, and even now with the drop frames, it's been really annoying. So we'll see what happens. But what's up, guys? I'm here. I'm here for an hour for you guys. And I see the comments already coming up. I'm going to start trying to read them as fast as I can. I was trying to get caught up on injuries and stuff like that real quick, but I guess I can do that as the show goes on for this hour or whatever. But there's a ticker. I haven't adjusted it really since I only adjusted like the mistakes I made in it, but I haven't really adjusted it since the show on Tuesday. I just took out the duplicates. Like, the Rams were in there twice, and I was missing Carlos Hyde. So I put him in there. I don't know what happened, but I knew to put him in, but I didn't put him in. Everything, like I said, is done by me. So sometimes I make mistakes, like, I duplicate people's names, or I just things happen. It's just kind of what happens. I don't have an editor. I don't have a producer. I don't have people monitoring me. So I'm my own editor basically. So anyways, let's get to reading these stuff. There's a lot of comments already. I'm gonna scroll up the comment section and see what happens here. Big Earlobe, what's happening? Your opinion on how you think Keenan Allen will do this season? Keenan Allen, I did like him this year. I liked him because he has Stevie Johnson opposite him now, and it's hard to be able to cover. He finally has a good receiver opposite him. So, and you already know Phillip Rivers is going to get the ball out, and I really like Keenan Allen this year. I didn't think he was going to be 15 catches, 100-something yards that good that first week, but yeah, he's definitely a guy you want to keep starting because it looks like Phillip Rivers really likes him, especially with Stevie Johnson on the other side. In PPR, Bears fan 51, should I start Eddie Royal, Allen Robinson? By the way, I hate PPR leagues, just to let you know. That's why I do standard league stuff, but of course I'll answer your question the best I can. In PPR, should I start Eddie Royal, Allen Robinson, or John Brown? And for standard, should I start Cole Beasley or Nelson Aguilar? This week, Cole Beasley looks good, because Terrence Williams and no Dez Bryant, and that's that shifty Wes Welker type of receiver. I actually like Cole Beasley over Nelson Aguilar. PPR would start Eddie Royal. He's going to get a lot of catches his way. So is Marquez Wilson, because it doesn't look like Alshon Jeffrey's going to play. Let me see here. Bears fan again. Also opinions on Adrian Peterson and C.J. Anderson going forward. C.J. Anderson right now is scaring me. He doesn't look good, and it looks like Ronnie Hillman's taking a lot of his carries. So I would say Adrian Peterson in a heartbeat, because he's not going to be, facing. He never does good against San Francisco, and obviously he didn't do well Monday night. But there's no reason to panic with Adrian Peterson. He's going to step it up. He's going to step it up. And they're going to block for him, so definitely Adrian Peterson. But I don't know about C.J. Anderson. He's looking like he might actually lose his job. That's kind of what that's where it's going for him, I think. So we'll see. But let me see if I can go scroll up. Start John Brown. Is that a question, or is that responding to somebody else? I think you were. Yeah, you're responding. I hate Jay Cutler. PPR league, Luck is my quarterback. Who should I use for 2 wide receiver spots? Dante Moncrief, Andre Johnson, Terrence Williams, Stevie Johnson, or Brandon Coleman? All, to be honest with you, every one of those guys this week I like, except maybe Andre Johnson, because Andre Johnson's probably going to have Darrelle Revis all over him. But Terrence Williams is a good start, and minus, because the Eagles don't really have that great of a secondary. Stevie Johnson's a good start. Brandon Coleman's a good start, especially against the Bucs. Dante Moncrief is a good start because I'm not sure if even Cromartie's playing for the Jets. So I like a lot of those players. Hey, FanDuel, Carlos Hyde and Edelman, or Julio and Chris Johnson. FanDuel, I like to tell you this. I've been checking out FanDuel a lot, and I've been noticing the players that they play, and I've noticed the trends. The people like to pick with the trends. So what you want to do is this is kind of a big thing, and I noticed that people, and this is kind of coinciding with my show. My show is based on people. I talk about people that aren't the higher tier guys, the more expensive guys. So you should say on FanDuel. So look for those lower tier players, along with some bigger ones that might do well. But look for those lower tier players that have a less percentage of starting, like a less percentage of people picking them. Look for the best ones out of those, and see if you can get those, because then you up your chances of winning, because only you have been picking those players. So that's kind of my suggestion with FanDuel. It seems like the players that win that 100 grand, those people that have like the $1 million, it seems like they pick those kind of players, because it's like they go for the trends. They go for the people that are in the 5%, 2% starting, 0% starting, because they know that nobody else is picking them. So if those players do well, they're going to fly up the charts and they're going to get the high scores, while everybody else is picking everybody else the same like everybody else. So like 30-40% of people playing FanDuel is going to pick Julio Jones, and yes, he's a stud. I'm not saying don't put him in. I'm just saying put him alongside with other people that are like low money players, but will do good this week. Like for example, Carlos Williams from the Buffalo Bills. It looks like LaShawn McCoy won't play this week, or even if he does, Carlos Williams is going to probably get the majority of the carries because LaShawn McCoy's hurt, and New England has no kind of defense against the run. Look at D'Angelo Williams from the Steelers, ran all over him last week. And Buffalo's a running team. Look for him to get a lot of carries, especially in the red zone, being he's a big back. That's the kind of guy you want to put on a FanDuel, if that's what you were asking me. Let's see here. I have Charter Cable. I heard that's even worse. Moncrief or Williams? Which Williams are you talking about? And I love Moncrief this week, especially if Hilton's out. Chris Johnson or Bishop Sankey? I actually like Bishop Sankey this week because he's playing the Browns, and the Browns are horrible against the run. They're so horrible against the run. They were last year, and they're already like third to last this year, or second to last. They are not a good team against the run. They just can't defend the run, and it looks like the Titans are finally using Bishop Sankey, and on top of that, rushing him a lot. So I like Bishop Sankey this week. Thanks again, and happy birthday. Thanks. No, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm the big 4-0. Big 4-0. I'm 40. Standard League. Who should be my flex? Smith Senior. I'm sorry. Jesus Vasquez. Or Jesus. I'm sorry. Jesus Vasquez. Standard League. Who should be my flex? Smith Senior, Williams, Moncrief, or James Jones. And I assume you're talking about Terrence Williams, I think. Pick 3. I like John Brown. I already said I like Moncrief, and I like Terrence Williams. Oh, you have Odell. You start Odell. Come on. You always start Odell. So I'm sorry. Odell, John Brown, and who's the Dolphins playing again? Dolphins are playing the Jaguars in the PPR too. So John Brown doesn't get that many catches. He gets like a bunch of catches. So I would say Odell, Landry, and Terrence Williams. And if Moncrief is playing, I maybe might start Moncrief because, like I said, Darrelle Revis is going to be all over Andre Johnson. Look for Moncrief to take them balls, unless Darrelle Revis goes after him, which I doubt. I think it's going to be Andre Johnson he covers. So moving on here. Camber. I was asking you Edelman and Hyde or Julio and Chris Johnson. I'm in a different type of league. Edelman and Hyde or Julio and Chris Johnson. Let's see. Edelman and Hyde. I don't like Edelman this week going against the Bills. He's going to get a lot of catches, but if you're in a PPR, get Edelman. If you're in yardage and points, I would say Julio and Chris Johnson, because the Steelers are going to try to gang up on Carlos Hyde this week. So yeah, I was looking at some stuff. It doesn't look like Alshon Jeffrey might play. He might be out this week. So Marquez Wilson's a really good start, along with Eddie Royal. Marquez Wilson did pretty well last week. I'm trying to think of who else is out. If LaShawn McCoy is out, like I said, Carlos Williams is a guy you want to play. Monitor those guys, especially if there's a guy you can pick up off the waiver wire. That's a good one. Jesus Vasquez, would you start Chris Johnson over Frank Gore this week? Yeah, Frank Gore is going against the Jets. Jets have an excellent run defense. They're hard to run against, and Frank Gore got a little banged up last week in the game. So I don't like him. I rather take Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson's playing the Chicago Bears, and the Bears, I don't know if you saw, but they're not the greatest at stopping the run either. And their defense, they have Vic Fangio, the former 49er coordinator, who's pretty good, had pretty good teams against the run, but he doesn't have those 49er players there. So I look for Chris Johnson to have a pretty good game. And another thing though with Chris Johnson though, you got to be careful because there's also David Johnson on that team. I know Chris Johnson's starting, but they're going to try to get that rookie in there a lot, and David Johnson. So if you're worried about that, then yes, go with Frank Gore. But I'm worried about Frank Gore's durability, and I'm worried about the defense that he's facing. They're really good against the run. And when you have Darrelle Revis back there, they can key on the run because they're going to be, he's pretty much a lockdown corner that sticks with his guys. They're not going to stay back and not load the box up. So that's what I'm worried about when with Frank Gore going against the Jets this week. So I'm trying to run the ticker, I'm trying to run the stream, and I'm trying to run all this stuff at the same time to give you guys all the updated ticker stuff and everything. What positions would you invest the most in? Are you talking about in FanDuel? I'm actually going to adjust my FanDuel this week. I can tell you who I have. I think I have like 4 of them that I'm doing this week, and I have to adjust one because I just found out some players or a player might be playing. But I have a lot of lower tier guys in some of them because there's a lot of cheaper guys out there that you can get this week that might do well, especially with the injuries going on. There's a lot of hamstring injuries this week in the NFL. Defense, King Series defense. Should I start Carolina, I guess you meant, versus Texans, or Saints versus Tampa? You meant FanDuel. I'll get to it in a second. Should I start Carolina versus Texans or Saints versus Tampa? I would go with the rookie quarterback. Because Texans might score with Ryan Mallett. He actually did pretty well against the Chiefs when he came in, and maybe he'll struggle on the road against Carolina, but Tampa with Jameis Winston at quarterback, he already made a mistake and threw a touchdown pass to the opposite team. So I would always start the one with the more shaky quarterback, and it just seems like Winston's a more shaky quarterback, being he's a rookie. And for Thaddeus, I have I'll tell you some lower tier guys that I'm starting this week in FanDuel. Bishop Sankey at 6,500. Dwayne Allen from the Colts, 5,200. Dante Moncrief's only 6,000. I do have some other players in there that are high. Carson Palmer's only 7,800. I mean, that's still middle tier, whatever. But I have Carson Palmer. I love him this week. Let's see. I have Carlos Williams, like I said, from the Bills. I have him. He's only $4,700. Let's see who else I have. Doug Martin, 6,700 this week, going against the Saints. Stevie Johnson, 5,700. Dante Moncrief's only 6,000. Ladarius Green, only 5,600. Who else do I have in here? Tyler Lockett going against the Green Bay Packers. I have him on a Thursday night thing that I'm doing, a Sunday night and Monday night thing that I'm doing. But Tyler Lockett's only 5,000. He's a good starter. He in the slot. I think they're gonna. When Doug Baldwin played in the slot last year in the championship game, he killed Green Bay. So I'm looking for a game like that kind of Tyler Lockett this year. Those are some of the things that I was doing. I mean, there's some other guys that are lower tier, but look at the matchups. Look at the defenses, how they've been playing already so far this year. and their matchups, and see if you can find the best lower tier money guys to go in those matchups. That'll give you the edge. I mean, I don't want to give you too much advice like that because, you know, you do want to stick to some studs. Like, if you have a stud that's going to do good, you know he's going to do good, yes, start him, but try to pair him up with other guys that are lower tier. Gregory Triplet, pick 2 standard scoring. Landry, Evans, pick 2 in standard scoring. Landry, Evans, Tate, Coleman, and Terrence Williams. I would say, Coleman might break out this week. I would say Landry and Terrence Williams though, because Terrence Williams, I mean, he's gonna get his targets, he's gonna get his catches. Romo's gonna get him the ball. Standard League, 2 flex spots from Sport Dog 1000. Eddie Lacy, Eddie Royal, Shane Vereen, or Malcolm Floyd, or Michael Floyd. Eddie Lacy, Eddie Royal, Shane Vereen, or Michael Floyd. 2 flex spots. You got to start Eddie Lacy. Just in case for the goal line carries when they do get to the goal line and they do try to punch it in. You got to start Eddie Lacy. And you never know. They're going to try to run. They're going to try to run. Green Bay is going to try to run. They have to run to establish the pass against Seattle. They're going to run. So I would definitely start Lacy. And if Jeffrey doesn't play, Alshon Jeffrey doesn't play, Eddie Royal. If he does play, I would start Michael Floyd. I would stay away from Shane Vereen. And flex, David Johnson from Gregory Triplett. And flex, David Johnson or another one of those wide receivers. And where was their other wide receivers? Evans, Coleman. I would start Coleman over David Johnson. Definitely. Coleman might have a good game this week. That Bucs secondary sucks. Jesse M, Edelman, or Terrence Williams. Rams or Dolphins. If it's a PPR, I'll tell you Edelman. If it's a yardage, I'll tell you Terrence Williams. I think the Buffalo secondary is going to be all over Edelman this week. Rams or Dolphins, I love both of them this week. I think they're my number 1 and number 2 defenses of the week. The Rams for their, to get the quarterback and get sacks. Same with the Dolphins stopping stuff. But I would actually say the Rams this week because they're playing the more shaky quarterback. Although Blake Bortles is kind of shaky, but the Rams are playing Kirk Cousins, and you got to go with the other quarterback, or with the more shaky of the two. And Bortles can at least get you the run yards and everything else. So I would say the Rams. Let's see, what else do we got here? So I'm trying to read them, but the comments move so quick they go. Phew. Delaney Walker, Will Hamilton, Delaney Walker and his injured wrist, or Vernon Davis. I don't know, man. Gronkowski killed. I know it's Gronkowski because it's Brady and Gronkowski, but Gronkowski killed the Steelers, and it didn't look like they could defend. They could defend that at all. But Vernon Davis is used a lot in blocking. Believe it or not, he's been helping block a lot, and he's really good at blocking. He likes blocking. I just think they're going to use the other tight ends. So I don't know. I guess I would monitor Delaney Walker to see how much he's going to play, or if he's going to play. And because it doesn't look like it's too bad. They just put a cast on him just to put. I think they believe they put a cast on his wrist just to stabilize it. And there's no like broken bones, but it was just like ligament damage. So believe it or not, I think I'd start Delaney over Vernon Davis this week. Because I hate it when it's almost like a decoy. They want to use Vernon Davis for a decoy because the Steelers are going to be keying on him because they think that they saw Gronk all over him, So I don't know. We'll see how they use Vernon Davis, but I would be safe and start Delaney Walker. Nicholas Zimmerman, Matthew Stafford, or Ryan Tannehill. Who do I start? The Lions, or who are they playing again? I'm sorry. Let me look just to make sure again. The Lions are playing at Minnesota, and Tannehill is playing the Jaguars. I would say Tannehill. Tannehill's the better matchup. The Minnesota secondary is actually pretty talented. They're pretty good. So I would say Tannehill. Jesus, which would be a better flex? Calvin John, is that Chris Johnson? I would take it. I hope you mean Chris Johnson, because Calvin Johnson, you would not even ask me that question. Chris Johnson or Moncrief? Different league. And Roddy White and Steve Smith. I like Roddy White because they're going to be keying on Julio Jones, and Roddy White was getting catches last week too. I love Roddy White. And for the other question, I would say Moncrief because Chris Johnson, and well, if T.Y. Hilton sits, put Moncrief. If T.Y. Hilton doesn't, put Chris Johnson. Although I think Moncrief will still get targets, it's just not as much as Chris Johnson will get looks, I guess. Yo, good afternoon from Deftest Axis. What do you think? Terrence Williams or James Jones? Ooh, it moved on me. Terrence Williams or James Jones at flex? And thank you for the help. No problem. Let's see. Terrence Williams and James Jones. Do not like James Jones going against the Seattle secondary. I mean, he can prove me wrong and get touchdowns, but we all know that Legion of Boom is crazy. They're nasty. And the Rams exposed them a little bit last week, but they were minus Cam Chancellor, and they're going to shore that up. You know they're going to fix that. So I would say Terrence Williams. He has the better matchup, especially with the Eagles secondary, who is not as talented as that Seattle secondary. They might have Vernon Maxwell, but I don't see them being able to stop still the Cowboys' air attack. Bears fan, welcome back. Another PPR question: John Brown or Brandon Marshall? Brandon Marshall's kind of intriguing because he does get a lot of catches, and Fitzpatrick does like to throw it up to him. So in a PPR, I would definitely probably take Brandon Marshall. Alfred Blue or Chris Johnson? I would take Chris Johnson. I do not trust Alfred Blue whatsoever, one bit. And they're going against the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers front is pretty good. We Infinite Production. Should I start Brady, Tannehill, or Mariota? I would actually say, I don't never want you to say it's to sit Tom Brady, but he is going to be passing the ball a lot because they are not going to be able to run on that Bills defense. So because he's going to be passing the ball a lot, I would look to start Brady. But I think Tannehill is going to have the better game than Brady this week because Brady is going against a tough Bills defense. He has had success against the Bills defense in Buffalo. He has had success, but this is a little different look. Rex Ryan has done well defending Brady in the past, and this defense he has is loaded. But so I think Tannehill's going to have a better game, but I never like to tell you to sit your studs, and Brady's a stud. So you always kind of roll with him, especially early because you never know how they're going to do. But like I said, I think Tannehill's going to have a good game this week. Flacco or Tannehill? Tannehill. From Gregory Triplett. Flacco or Tannehill? Tannehill. Flacco does not have any weapons this year, nobody to throw to. And I think he's going to even have a horrible game this week against the Raiders. Flex spot: John Brown, Doug Martin, or Jonathan Stewart. I'd say Doug Martin. Doug Martin might have a good game run against the Saints. I don't think they're going to be able to stop the run. They weren't stopping the run against Arizona, and Arizona can't run the ball very well. Is Amari Cooper worth a start this week? Now that Derek Carr is playing, yes. He might be worth that start this week. It depends on who you're starting him over, but Amari Cooper, I just found out that Derek Carr is not as bad as they thought, and he actually might get the start this week. So if Derek Carr starts, yes, I would put Amari Cooper in. I actually have Amari Cooper. I took him out until I found out that Derek Carr is back, and I put him back in my lineup. So I like Amari Cooper when Derek Carr is there. When Matt McGloin is there, I don't like Amari Cooper. All right, let's see who's next. King Series, does Devontae Adams still have value? I think he will. It's just with the Green Bay Packers, you never know when Jordy Nelson's not there. The thing is, Aaron Rodgers likes to spread it around, and they like to pick mismatches. And when Jordy Nelson's there with him and Randall Cobb, they create mismatches. And he can go to wherever he wants out of those two. So Randall Cobb is there. Now Randall Cobb's the main focus. So you never know who's going to get it, whether it be James Jones or Devontae Adams, or it's got Jeff Janis, or it's the Richard Rodgers. And this week, being that the Seattle Seahawks are minus Cam Chancellor, I think Richard Rodgers is going to have the good game out of the receiver core, meaning the tight ends. But I think they're going to try to expose not having Cam Chancellor back there to defend that. So I like Randall Cobb in the slot this week because Devontae Adams is going to probably line up outside. James Jones is going to line up outside. Randall Cobb's going to go in the slot. And Richard Rodgers is also going to be on the other side. So I like those two exposing the Seattle Seahawks this week, not the outside receiver. So I don't like Adams. I don't like James Jones this week. Deafness. What do you think about the C.J. Anderson over Hillman situation? Do you think Hillman will take over? I was talking about that just a few minutes ago. I think it just looks like Hillman right now is the better runner between the two. It looks like C.J. Anderson is just not playing well at this moment. You never know what Denver's going to do. They're going to keep running because that's what they do. That's what Kubiak likes to do. He's going to keep plugging. But it just looks like Peyton Manning's more comfortable with Hillman back there than he is with C.J. Anderson. And Peyton Manning's almost 40 years old, and he's going to want what he wants. So it looks every week so far, it looks more towards Hillman. But C.J. Anderson looks like still to be the starter. They're giving him his chances, but it looks like Hillman might eventually take over. So he's a guy you want to keep on your radar if you have a chance to pick him up, or if you have him already to make sure, to hold on to him. Seattle's D or San Fran's. I would say, to be honest with you, I would say Seattle's D because not because San Fran has a better matchup, I would think, going against Pittsburgh minus all the players they're missing on offense, Le'Veon Bell, Martavis Bryant, and their center, their Pro Bowl center, Maurkice Pouncey. But Seattle has the threat of scoring on defense, or with the fumbles, or they have a threat on scoring with a kickoff return or a punt return now with Tyler Lockett, and that's what makes Seattle. Look at Seattle's D gave up 34 points last week to the Rams, but they still scored 19 points in fantasy. Why? They had the touchdown. They had the touchdown on defense. They had the touchdown with Tyler Lockett running it back. So that stuff makes up the difference, man. They would have scored nothing had it been for that. And I don't think San Fran's D is the same like that when it comes to that, having that threat to score at a punt return, unless Jared Haynes starts making some plays. So I would say Seattle's D for now. Jesus, thoughts on Anderson? CJ Anderson, I just gave that for you, if that's who you meant. And Jesse M. in Standard League, Gore, Stewart, or Spiller, since Ellington is down, or get someone off the waiver wire like Chris Johnson. If Chris Johnson is on the waiver wire, if CJ Spiller is playing, I will tell you right now, well, I would start Jonathan Stewart or Frank Gore. I mean, you don't have to go grab another player. Frank Gore might get some points for you. Jonathan Stewart's definitely going to do some work against Houston Texans defense. They're going to have to try to run the ball, and they had some success. Kansas City did running the ball against them last week as well. Ooh, it just flew down. So let me go back up. BG Ryo. Hi, should I start Tevin Coleman, McFadden, or Steve Johnson in my flex? I love Coleman. Coleman going against that Giants defense. They had no run defense whatsoever. Start Tevin Coleman. And already the Falcons are running the ball. They like that kid. They were running him like crazy against the Eagles in that Monday night game. So I would start Coleman. And they love him. He's looking good already. We Infinite Productions. Okay, since Derek Carr is playing, then pick 2. Cooper, John Brown, Brandon Coleman. I would tell you right now, Cooper and John Brown. Brandon Coleman is an intriguing matchup, but still unproven. Like I said, he could go off, but you just don't know. With Amari Cooper, at least Derek Carr and him are going to be trying to hook up the most they can. And Carson Palmer likes to throw to John Brown. Let's see. What did I miss? Nicholas Zimmerman, I'm sorry. Start Tevin Coleman, but I feel like Stevie Johnson too. I think he's just answering. Standard League, Gore, Stewart, or Spiller, since Ellington is down, or get someone from the waiver. Like I already read that. Diego, how about Julian Edelman or Percy Harvin in a Standard League? I would still go with Julian Edelman. He's going to get targets. Regardless, he's going to get targets. John Brady is not going to stop throwing to Julian Edelman, and they're going to try to defend it. He might get like 12 catches for 80 yards, but he's gonna keep getting catches. So. And he's going to keep getting targets. Maybe he'll get a 1-yard touchdown pass. I mean, you just got to go with a guy like that because he's not going to stop getting thrown to. What do you think? Steve asks, what do you think the score would be in the Niner game tomorrow? I'm hoping that the Niners win that game. I think I predicted it. If you go to MagnumSportsNetwork.com, the predictions, I made the predictions this week. The guy that usually does it wasn't able to do it, so I made the predictions this week. It's on there. I forgot what I predicted, but I definitely predicted that score on there. I don't have time to look at it myself, but you're welcome to go on there for me. Let's see. BG Ryo, and the reason why I'm reading everybody's names and then asking your questions is because this is going to go back up on YouTube after this is over. It re-uploads to YouTube, and people are going to wonder who the heck I'm talking to. So if people know that I'm saying your name, and doing the questions, then they know that that this was a live show, because people were asking me like, what is this? So let's see, back to the questions. Where'd they go? All right, not Stevie Johnson. I mean Steve Johnson from the Chargers. And who was the other guy you were talking about then with it? BG Ryo is it is the same person. Oh, Stevie Johnson and Steve Johnson. Yeah, it's the same person. I was like, wait a second, what? I was confused. Yeah, Stevie Johnson and Steve Johnson are the same players. Gurley or Gore from Maddie Rant. Sorry if I did say your name wrong. Maddie, how about that? I'll just say Maddie. I don't want to butcher your name on here. Gurley or Gore, I don't think Gurley's playing. They said that he looked good in practice, but I don't think he's playing, and I still don't know if it's worth a start. Trey Mason might get a little more carries over him still. I think Trey Mason might already play. He was definitely practicing all week, from what I've read so far. So I would stay away from Gurley for now. I would definitely start Gore. I know this is a dumb question from Oya that happened. Dumb is never a dumb question. But Rodgers or Cap? I would pick Cap because Pittsburgh doesn't have a D, and Cap might run all over them, and Aaron is playing the LOB, which Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to tell you to not start Aaron Rodgers. You start Aaron Rodgers no matter what. He's going to throw the ball. He's going to throw the ball around regardless, and Seattle's missing Cam Chancellor. Yes, they have the LOB. I get it. But you still start Aaron Rodgers over Cap. You don't know what you're going to get with Cap yet. And, yeah, he might have a good game, but you just don't know. Where Aaron Rodgers, you're going to kill yourself, in the mind, not in real life. But, I mean, you're going to kill yourself if you're going to think about that one. Like, that's just – it's not a dumb question. It's just that Aaron Rodgers, I would never not start him unless it's like – the championship game and he's playing the Seattle Seahawks in that. You're in the fantasy championship game and he's playing the Seattle Seahawks again or something and they have a full, loaded defense, and then you have somebody else on the bench that's playing such a cupcake team that you have to start him. That's the only situation I would think about benching at Rodgers, because now you're going for a lot of money and you got a one-game decision. But when you're this early in the fantasy season, no, you don't want to sit Rodgers. All right, BG. Okay, thanks. I need to find a replacement for Macklin. Any ideas? Yeah, Macklin, I do not like Jeremy Macklin. I didn't like him this week. I had him on my sits, and look at that. I think he barely did a thing. I just don't trust Alex Smith throwing their wide receivers. Thoughts on Mike Wallace? I think Mike Wallace is a good threat. He's going to be a good threat if Teddy Bridgewater can find him. That's the problem right now, and Teddy Bridgewater was under pressure all over on Monday night. So we'll see what happens this week. I actually like Mike Wallace a little bit this week if Teddy Bridgewater can find him. But he looked a little shaky in the pocket this past weekend. He was getting blitzed a lot. Yeah, it says Steve Johnson on the NFL app, but he goes by Stevie Johnson. Like if you look him up or hear anything, usually they refer to him as Stevie Johnson. But yeah, I understand what you mean. Thoughts on Austin Seferian-Jenkins? Love him this week too. He's another guy highly underrated, and I expect the Bucs to be down, so they're gonna be throwing a lot. And he was a guy. He's a big target. I don't know if you've seen him play. It's a very big target for Jameis Winston to throw to, and it seems like he already likes throwing it to him a lot. So definitely, he's a good play this week, especially if you have somebody that doesn't have a good matchup. He's a really good play, and he's on a lot of waiver wires. He had a good game this week, but still, tight end position is just one of those positions that seemed like it wasn't so deep, so people weren't picking up that many players. So he's on a lot of waiver wires. Andy asked, Randall Cobb or Brandon Coleman? I would go Randall Cobb. I know they're playing the LOB, but he's going to get a lot of targets, and they have a problem defending slot players. Last year, he caught 7 balls for 72 yards in a championship game. He had a touchdown as well. They have a problem defending slot players, and it just, for some reason, that's Seattle's Achilles heel sometimes. They just have a problem in the slot. So I would definitely start Randall Cobb over him. Although I do think Brandon Coleman's going to have a pretty good game this week, but Cobb just gets so many targets. Brian Roach. In PPR, pick one: Larry Fitzgerald, Danny Woodhead, or Kendall Wright. I would tell you Kendall Wright. He seems to be getting a lot of targets from Mariota. Mariota seems very comfortable with him. Danny Woodhead's another good target because he's going to get you rush yards and catches from the backfield. And they're trusting him a lot, especially with Melvin Gordon, the rookie, kind of shaky the first game. It seems like they trust Danny Woodhead a lot. And one of the wide receivers, if Alshon Jeffrey doesn't play. If Alshon Jeffrey doesn't play, I would say Kendall Wright again. Or if you already put him in, pick Larry Fitzgerald and put Danny Woodhead in your flex or whatever, if that's what you meant. Because Larry Fitzgerald doesn't get a lot of targets from Carson Palmer. It seems like Michael Floyd and John Brown do. I mean, he gets some, but Carson Palmer's in there for some reason. He doesn't throw to Larry Fitzgerald as much. It doesn't seem like he's comfortable throwing to him. Not that he shouldn't be, because Larry Fitzgerald is awesome, but for some reason, Larry Fitzgerald does not get a lot of targets from Carson Palmer. Colts D this week against the Jets. I don't know. They're going to have a hard time stopping the run. And I don't know if they're going to have a hard time stopping the Jets' run attack. They're going to have a hard time with Ryan Fitzpatrick's a pretty good gambler. The only one pretty much good on the Colts D is Vontae Davis defending, and I don't know if they're a start this week. Depthus, will Siggy ever join you in these live shows? There will be some cool debates. Yes, there will be, and hopefully he can. It's just at the moment, he just had his baby. So if you get a chance to congratulate him on Twitter, his name is at Siggy V. That's SIGGY V as in Victor. Make sure you message him and say congratulations on your newborn. Because he sent me a picture of him. Little boy's really cute, and Siggy right now is home with his family, enjoying time with his wife. So I don't need to push him to try to do the shows with me yet. He said he's going to be able to do them soon, so he will be on soon to start him and sit him, and he'll be on soon the live show with me as well. Just I want to give him some time to enjoy his newborn. Let's see. Do you think that Odell will be better this week? Or same Odell as last week? I think he will be better this week. He's definitely going to get a lot of targets against the Falcons. Falcons secondary isn't that great. They do play that cover 3 like Seattle because they have the Seattle defensive coach as their head coach. So they are working that way, but they aren't the Seattle D. They don't play it the same. So I like Odell this week going against them. Do you play multiple rosters or bet all on one roster? I play multiple rosters. I don't try one roster and then bet them all on all different ones. I like to try to tinker with a little few. Everybody has their thing. I've noticed people that play the same roster on a bunch on the same because they're so confident that they might win a bunch of money together with one roster. So you can try it that way. You can try it. It's all playing with it. I'm new to FanDuel. I've only played it last year at the end of last year, and then now at the start of this year. I've yet to not place, so that's actually not bad, but I haven't won any big money on it yet. Not any huge money. I've won a little bit of money here and there, just nothing like going, whoa, I can't believe I won that much. I wish that'd be cool. But I've been listening to a lot of the people and checking out kind of like basically doing my research on this because it's so new to me, so I'm doing research on it. And the research I do, I've noticed that the players that win, the guys and people, or not guys, but the people that win the big money seem to have those lower tier players on there mixed with the big ones, but they have the really lower tier players. Seems like they do their homework and see who those lower tier players are, how they're going to play that week, and it seems like they're doing their homework on the matchups. So that's the best thing to do. I can suggest is play those guys with those really good matchups against defenses that just suck and play those younger guys, especially if there's a guy injured ahead of them. So let's see. Jesse, Martellus Bennett or Austin Severes Jenkins? I'm going to tell you Martellus Bennett. He gets a lot of targets. Jay Cutler loves throwing to him. Steve Vela, do you think the Niners will go to the playoffs? I think they will go. Yes, I think the Niners will go to the playoffs. I'm a 49er fan, of course. I think they're going to the playoffs every year, even when they suck. Nicholas, Lance Dunbar is a wild card. Yes, he is. Lance Dunbar is definitely a wild card this week. He looks good for PPR leagues this week. If you do like PPR, he's a guy that they used a lot last week, especially out of screen game and especially pass catching out of the backfield. He's actually a good pickup for that. BG Ryo, do you think Moncrief is a good replacement for Macklin until TY comes back? Yes. I like Dante Moncrief. Believe it or not, he gets a lot of targets. He had like 12 targets, I think, last week alone against the Bills, despite everything that was going on. So I like Moncrief a lot. Bills D or Titans D? If the Bills were not playing the Patriots, the way the Patriots move the ball methodically, I know the Bills D is good, but they're playing the Patriots, and the Patriots are going to try to find a way to move the ball. Titans, they have a dream matchup against Johnny Manziel. He cannot just move the ball. He might get you a touchdown, but he throws a lot. He has a lot of turnovers, fumbles, interceptions. Definitely, Titans D is one of my must starts this week. I even have them on my FanDuel. Chris Johnson against the Bears, Matty. Chris Johnson against the Bears, or Tevin Coleman. Wait, what did I read? Did I read that right? It moved. Chris Johnson against the Bears or Gore against the Jets? I would say Chris Johnson against the Bears. He has just a better matchup. Bears fan, Tyler Eifert or Martellus Bennett for PPR? I don't know. You don't know yet with Eifert. You know what you get with Bennett because he's going to get a lot of targets. Eifert seems to be Dalton's go-to guy right now. So I think you're good to go with any one of them. But if I would tell you this week with the Bears playing Arizona and Cincinnati, who they playing San Diego, I would say go with Eifert. Eric Ebron had some success last week against against the secondary in San Diego. So go with Eifert. Let's see. PPR league, flex spot, Woodhead or Vereen. I would say Woodhead. He just seems to be a guy that San Diego loves. I would say Woodhead. And apparently Nicholas says the same thing. Thanks, Nicholas. Is Christine Michael worth hanging on to? Not sure, because he's not really playing yet. I happen to think, and this is just a hunch, like one of my little hunches, but I think he's going to be the man moving forward as when it gets towards the middle of the season. I don't think they like Randall that much. I don't think they like Darren McFadden as much either. And the reason why is because they traded for Christine Michael. Why would you trade for a guy if you're comfortable with those two players? So I see him as a guy who, once he gets acclimated with the offense and Tony Romo and the blitz pickups, he's going to be a guy that they're going to put in there and use, because Christine Michael's a good running back. Problem is he hasn't been given a chance, and with that offensive line in Dallas, and he starts to get his chance and starts to learn the offense, he's going to be thrown in there, and I think he's going to do well. Problem is, it ain't going to be until the middle of the season. It won't be till week 5, week 6 when we start to see Christine Michael. So if you have a way to hold on to him, I would hold on to him and see how it goes, because he's going to be a waiver wire pickup later in the season. Oh yeah, that happens. Bolden or Fitz? And Jordan Matthews or Terrence Williams? Remember, Dez is injured. Yeah, I know Dez is injured. Bolden or Fitz and Jordan Matthews and Terrence Williams. Now, you're asking me Bolden or Fitz, and then another league, Jordan Matthews or Terrence Williams, or you're asking me pick 2 out of the 4 or 3 out of the 4? Because this week against Pittsburgh, I like Bolden. I love Jordan Matthews against the Falcons, and I like Terrence Williams, like I said, with Dez gone. So I don't like Fitzgerald. Carson Palmer does not like to throw to him that much. Torrey or Crabtree? If you're talking about Torrey Smith, I'm not sure. Both of them, I would try to move with somebody else besides them two, because both of them don't seem to get any kind of throws. Crabtree's getting more throws than Torrey, so I would say Crabtree in his offense. Let's see. That was from Steve. All right, BG. In PPR at 2 running, man, you're in a lot of leagues, you guys. In PPR, 2 running back spots and 1 flex. What do? I have Eddie Lacy, Mark Ingram, Coleman, Woodhead, and Chris Johnson. Man, you're stacked. Let's see, PPR, 2 running backs and 1 flex. So you have the choice out of 5 guys. I would start Ingram for sure. 2 running back spots. So Ingram and Lacy, you got to start the running backs, those two. And for the flex, between Coleman, Woodhead, and Chris Johnson, if you mean Tevin Coleman, I would start Tevin Coleman. Although he doesn't get a lot of catches in PPR, so I would probably go with Woodhead if you're in a PPR, because Woodhead's going to get catches and runs. But if you're looking for yards and touchdowns, Tevin Coleman might be your guy this week. Jesus again, is Todd Gurley worth keeping? He would be if he's going to play. I would hold on to him if you can to see how he's going. They said he looks good in practice, but practice is not game. So I would wait to see how they're going with him and how they're going to run and what they're going to do. But they have Bunny Cunningham, and Trey Mason. They're going to be running those guys, and I don't think they want to get their main guy that they put a number 1 draft pick for hurt when he's not ready to come back yet. So they're gonna keep monitoring him. If he looks good enough to come back, remember it hasn't even been a full year since he got hurt, and nowadays it's hard to throw a guy in there with a torn ACL or whatever and just throw him to the wolves in the NFL of all places to get hit like that. Especially when you're running back, you're gonna get hit in your knees a lot. You're gonna get hit in your legs, and I don't know if they want to risk that just yet. I was asking, should I start Bolden over Fitz, and should I start Jordan over Terrence? I love Jordan Matthews over Terrence, yes. And I love Bolden over Fitz, yes. Maddie, Moncrief, Stevie Johnson, and Steve Smith. I have to sit one. I would sit Steve Smith going against the Raiders. I don't like the Raiders secondary, but I think Stevie Johnson is just gonna get a lot of targets with Phillip Rivers and Moncrief. Like I said, if T.Y. Hilton plays, then start Steve Smith. If T.Y. Hilton doesn't play, start Moncrief. That would be a better thing to tell you to do. Will, with Dez injured, my 2 wide receivers are Andre Johnson and Sammy Watkins. Try and get that by with them, or perhaps trade Dez. I have been offered Vincent Johnson and Devontae Adams. Do not do that trade. Do not do that trade. Tell him to go to hell with that trade. Tell him to offer you somebody real. And if he says that who Dez is injured, say yeah, but he's coming back. Offer you something real. Tate or Steve Smith from Pablo. Tate or Steve Smith, and Bradford or Tannehill. I would start Bradford over Tannehill. Bradford still threw for 300 yards in the game against the Falcons. He's going to put up points as he gets more acclimated with that offense, and he was looking pretty good, especially in that second half. Tannehill has weapons, but they run the ball a lot more. So I like Bradford. Tate or Steve Smith. Being that Calvin Johnson is there, I would say Steve Smith. Because Steve Smith's going to get a lot of targets because right now that's Flacco's only guy. I mean, he's pretty much the only wide receiver on that team that's worth noting besides Marlon Brown, who's trying to come back from an injury. I like Marlon Brown a lot, but Steve Smith's the main guy right now in Baltimore, which, like I said, isn't a lot for Flacco. Steve, did you see what the Bills put up in their stadium? It's funny as F. No, I did not. Let me know what that is. You can put a link in here if you want of a picture. Thoughts. This isn't Twitter or Twitch, so you're allowed to put links in here. I'll approve it later or whatever if it doesn't come up right away. Thoughts, as long as it's not a link to something not appropriate. Please don't do that. Thoughts on Sammy Watkins. This week I like him going against the New England secondary because I don't think the New England secondary is very good. But moving forward, I'm not sure about him because it doesn't seem like they throw the ball to the wide receivers as much. It seems like they like their tight ends. They like running the ball. It's that Greg Roman offense, not good to wide receivers. So we'll see. We'll see in the future with Sammy Watkins. But right now with Tyrod Taylor throwing the ball, I just think that Sammy had a rough time last week. I mean, he had 0 points in fantasy last week, but I think he's going to do better this week. Because that New England secondary, they're not as good as advertised. And Terrell Brown, he was on a former 49er. He was okay. And Malcolm Butler's actually had pretty good coverage last week on Antonio Brown, but Antonio Brown still had 100-something yards receiving and like 9 or 10 catches. And that's not acceptable. Jesse, just want to hear your opinion on why you would choose Matt Ryan over Andrew Luck. Because Matt Ryan is playing the Giants secondary while Andrew Luck is playing the Jets secondary. That's the only reason. In a normal, decent game, I would say the opposite. But with in this week's matchup, look who Matt Ryan's playing. He's playing a Giants secondary that is garbage compared to the Jets with Antonio Cromartie, who might not play, but still the Jets secondary is better with Darrelle Revis back there. When you have Darrelle Revis back there, you basically take one side of the field away. So now the defense only has to defend the whole, 3/4 of the field where one side of the field is taken away, and that makes the defense better. And it's going to be hard for Andrew Luck to find looks this week and find open people, just like he did against the Bills. He was struggling last week against the Bills. The only thing he got later was garbage points, but still, Matt Ryan has that crazy good matchup against the Giants, and he has Julio Jones, Roddy White, Tevin Coleman running back there. I mean, he looks superb. Yeah, he did throw a couple interceptions late, but I don't know if he's going to do that against the Giants. Let's see. Yo face. Keenan Allen or Cooper flex, Woodhead or Latavius Murray. I would say Keenan Allen and Latavius Murray. Oh no, Latavius Murray's playing the Ravens. I don't know if the Ravens can stop the run as much as in the years past, especially with Suggs gone now and Haloti Ngata gone. So you know what? I'm going to say Keenan Allen and Latavius Murray. Deftest, Bradford or Palmer? Woo, that's a good one. Palmer against the Bears, I like him a lot. So I'm going to, but Bradford, they're going to throw the ball a lot against Dallas. They might try to run a lot too because they want to probably give DeMarco carries to, against his former team. So I'm going to say Palmer. Palmer over Bradford this week. Yeah, go Niners, Maddie. And no problem, man. Anything I can do to help. Hopefully I'm helping you guys. I hope I help you guys every week. I mean, it sucks if I, get some wrong. I will get some wrong, and I do apologize. But I'm trying my best to, do the research, check it all out and see who I like this week and do everything for you guys. So hopefully it helps you. So JT, what are you rocking with this week? What are your lineups looking like? I wish I could tell you that real quick. Let me see. I can click on as fast as I can here. I will give you my NFL.com lineup this week. My lineup for NFL.com is, it's not going on there. It's not going on there, so I can't even show you that right now. But I can tell you some of my FanDuel lineups if you'd like to hear that. One of my FanDuel lineups has Carson Palmer, Bishop Sankey, Chris Ivory, Julio Jones, Dante Moncrief, Antonio Brown, Dwayne Allen, and Adam Vinatieri. Titans defense. That's one of my lineups for that. I have like 4 different lineups. Each lineup has a different quarterback. And different running backs and different wide receivers. Some have similar, depending on the amount of money I spend, but I have a lot of different stuff going on here. And I have 4 of them, and they're all the cheap $1 and $2 ones. I don't like to play the big ones because I'm not loaded. I wish I had a lot of money to be able to do stuff like that, but I'm not rich, so I'm trying to get rich. So, trying to play the $1 and $2 ones, trying to win a lot of money against thousands of people, that's more fun to me anyways, the competitive side of me. So, yeah. Is benching Steve Smith a good... Here, I'll tell you what my ESPN lineup is. That'll probably be easier for you guys to hear. I have an ESPN fantasy that I'm doing with my wife's family, and I are in that one. And my lineup for that is... Let me find it. Let's see, fantasy, my name, I am, oh, no. Here, while that thing is playing, they have a stupid video that plays. It's so stupid. I don't know why it does that, but I'll answer some more questions real quick. Let's see, is benching Steve Smith a good move in a league where you have John Brown, Julio Jones, and OBJ? Yes. Bench him for those 3, yes. It depends on the matchups too. I mean, if John Brown has a horrible matchup against somebody, if he's playing somebody with a good secondary, then yeah, put Steve Smith in. It depends on matchup, but I don't think you ever bench Julio or OBJ, not at the moment. Standard League, Bradford, quarterback. This is from Sport Dog. Standard League, Bradford, quarterback, 2 wide receiver spots. Jordan Matthews, John Brown, Nelson Aguilar, Malcolm Floyd. Jordan Matthews and John Brown for sure. Andrew Luck from Bears fan or Tom Brady, Latavius Murray or John Stewart. I would say Andrew Luck over Tom Brady this week. The Buffalo Bills are tough. You saw what they did to Andrew Luck last week. They're gonna make life difficult for Brady this week, especially with that pass rush. At least with the Jets, you can try to do some things and throw the ball a little bit better. But I think I like Andrew Luck's chances better with more weapons. Let's see, Steve. Well, can't let me post it, but the vid is on Complex News. Okay, I'll look it up later. I'm sorry, buddy. Flex, Devontae Adams, Charles Johnson, or Travis Benjamin, or Lance Dunbar in the flex. Charles Johnson. I would tell you Charles Johnson out of that. That's a good matchup. He has a good matchup this week against the Lions, and he's going to get the ball a lot, especially with Bridgewater wanting to connect a lot this week. All right, now my fantasy lineup this week is I have I'm trying to think of how this league goes, but it's quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a flex. A tight end and a flex. So I have Andrew Luck, Mark Ingram, Jeremy Hill, Julio Jones, Brandon Cooks, Jarvis Landry, Vernon Davis, and Tevin Coleman in the flex. I have Vikings D going against the Lions. I have Seattle's defense as well, but I'm not starting them this week. And Matt Bryant as my kicker. I don't really care about kickers, but I'll let you know who it is. Let's see. More questions. I have Antonio Gates from Lax Paint. I have Antonio Gates, Arian Foster, and Martavis Bryant stash. Am I a hoarder? You're a good hoarder, I would say. If you have the flexibility to stash those kind of players, you are not a bad person. You are not a bad person, my friend. Good stash. I actually have Martavis Bryant stash in 2 leagues. So it's a good stash. He's going to be great when he comes back. He was killing it in preseason. He was killing it last year. I love Martavis Bryant. So, yeah, good stash, man. Should I start T.Y. Hilton? If he plays, yes. If he doesn't, no. I would monitor him. Please monitor him. Definitely. You have a great name, Poop Pie Eater. BG Ryo, oh good this week. Go Hawks from Seattle. We're during football season. I won't say Go Hawks. And good luck to you as well, BG, in this fantasy football week. Good luck to everyone in the fantasy football week. Like I said, I'm hoping I can help as much as I can. Can you name some 49er YouTubers like Rombo Sports? Actually, to be honest with you, the only one I watch is Rombo. And the reason why I watch him is because I found him randomly somewhere. And I liked the way he did his show. I liked the way he did his podcast, basically, or his videos. He does a very professional setting. It looks good. It's quality viewing, and I like the way he talks. So I haven't seen anybody else. Most of the other people I've watched that do Niner news or I'm sorry, that's mine, but that do Niner videos are like, they're just like so angry, or they're swearing too much, or it's just too much. I don't like that talk. I don't like people talking like that, and it doesn't make you look educated. It doesn't make you look smart. It just makes you sound like a pissed off fan. You can get pissed off without having to swear like that. So that's why I don't really follow that. But Rombo keeps it real. His videos are great, so I like that. Anyways, Sport Dog 1000, is Curse worth starting as a wide receiver in a standard league? If you're talking about Jermaine Curse, obviously you probably are. I guess it depends on who else you have on your team. With Seattle, the problem is you don't know who's getting the ball, whether it be Baldwin one week, Jimmy Graham, is going to be Tyler Lockett now, is it going to be Chris Matthews playing on the outside? You never know which guy is going to come up for Seattle, and Jermaine Curse does get some bombs here and there, but you never know which one is the one they're going to use that week, because Russell Wilson doesn't throw to just one guy. He throws to whoever is open. That's just how Russell Wilson is and how that offense goes. They're not made to make plays for certain players. They're made to make plays for the whole team, and that's just how Seattle plays, which isn't a bad thing, but it's a bad thing for fantasy. So the only really good fantasy players right now are Marshawn Lynch and Jimmy Graham, because you know Jimmy Graham is going to get look in the red zone. Let's see. Jesus, would you trade Rodgers for Brady? Heck no. Not yet, no. I like Brady, but that he's going to play some tough defenses this year where Rodgers doesn't have to. Rodgers has 2 games against Minnesota, 2 games against the Bears, 2 games against the Lions, and I'd rather take that rather than 2 games against the Jets, 2 games against the Bills, 2 games against the Dolphins, who all have good defenses. So yes, no, don't trade Rodgers for Brady. Yes, keep Rodgers. Kaepernick or Bradford? Bradford, definitely. Yes, he had an impressive game last week, but he also had no touchdown passes and no interceptions. Yes, and he ran the ball a little bit, but he looks more comfortable in the pocket. He looked a little bit better. He was stepping up in the pocket, doing stuff, and that was great for him. But he's not a stats guy. The Niners aren't built like that. They're built to run the ball. Kaepernick is built to play to win. He's not built to get stats. He's not going to be a stats guy for you. He's not going to be a Michael Vick. He's not going to be that type of player. He's never been that type of player. He's just going to be a guy that he'll get you a touchdown here and there. He'll get one running, but Bradford is in a spread offense, and that Chip Kelly offense, he's always going to try to get 300 yards passing. He's going to get a lot of passing attempts. He's going to get you a lot of touchdowns here and there, especially in that offense. It's just made to score. So it's 2 different offenses. So I definitely say Bradford. Poop Pie Eater. I have Nate Washington in my flex, or should I go with Crabtree against Baltimore or Martellus Bennett against the Cardinals? Go with Bennett. Yeah, Bennett's a good start, man. Bennett just gets so many targets. I would say Bennett in a heartbeat. Cutler doesn't care. He will throw to Bennett every time. Nicholas Zimmerman, thoughts on Dallas Cowboys after Dez is out 4 to 6 weeks? I think they're in trouble. Right now they have not a great team on offense without no running backs. They have Tony Romo, who's playing good. Tony Romo's been playing good. So they still have Jason Witten and everything, but I think they're going to struggle, and they're going to struggle on defense. So, they played the Giants last week. They weren't that good. They're going to play a good team. They're going to have some problems. So we'll see what happens when they play Philadelphia this week, but they have some problems right now, especially with Dez out. Dez is a matchup nightmare. So I think they have some problems. Thoughts on Super Bowl? I'm not sure. I'm going to tell you that my 49ers are going to Super Bowl. That's just, but I don't know. I don't know who's going to go to Super Bowl yet. It's too early right now to tell. Just being teams are 1-0, 2-0, whatever, it's still not, I don't know. You can ask me when it comes playoff time, then I'll make a prediction before the playoffs start, because then I'll know more and more about the teams. We're going to wrap this up soon. I got another pretty much minute. I got to keep it on time, because if I don't keep it on time, the wife is going to kill me. And you guys don't want me dead, because you guys want me to do the show next week. So I want to make sure I do all my, I told her 1 hour a week. That's all I'm doing. So I have to stay to that. She allows me to do all these things and edit and do all this stuff, stay up late nights and be able to do this. So thank her. Thank her. She's the main person you should thank for me being on here, helping you guys out, because she lets me do it. So yeah, if you got any last minute questions, or if you have any other questions, put them on the Stardom Cinema video. I'm gonna get to those questions. I'm sorry that I haven't been able to get to all of them, because I have a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Plus, I couldn't respond to some of them. I was trying. It won't let me. So like I said, I'll at you in the comment section, and I'll do all that stuff for you. And also hit me up on Twitter at JTMagnum_816. I will get to your questions. Ask Siggy questions if you want as well. If you like Siggy stuff, it's at SiggyV. Please feel free to ask him questions. And that's it. So I'll answer a couple questions really quick. Bears fan, I'm thinking Bennett over Eifert, I think, for PPR. You sure I should go with Eifert? It's your choice, man, ultimately. But Bennett probably is going to get more targets. So if you're looking for catches in PPR, Bennett. If you're looking for a little bit more yards and touchdowns, Eifert. Antonio Brown against the 49ers. Yes, I like Antonio Brown against the 49ers. Young secondary. They don't really know how to defend them that well. And I know that it's my team. Trust me. It's not a... I hate to say that. I hope he doesn't have a good game. I'm sorry to say that, but against my team. But I think he's going to have still a good game. He's not an easy guy to cover. Jesse, should I keep C.J. Spiller or get someone from the waiver? Keep C.J. Spiller for now, because he's gonna be doing that Darren Sproles type of role on the Saints, unless you have somebody really amazing to pick up off the waiver wire. And Sport Dog, thank you for the advice. Great show. I'm glad I subscribed. Thank you, Sport Dog. I appreciate that. Those are the kind of comments I love to see. And just, if I can help somebody, that makes me feel better when I help somebody the week. It feels great when I help somebody. If I steer somebody wrong, I do apologize. Like I said, I'm not a wizard, man. I can't predict the future. I'm not Nostradamus, but I try my best to help you guys the best I can. And this is fun. This is fun for me. So thanks a lot, but I'm going to cut this short. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everything. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget to go to MagnumSportsNetwork.com. I update the rankings. I do also update the injury reports for you guys on Sundays. Please check that out. The rankings are on there right now. The stardom and sit-ems are in there in full depth. Like I actually have it so that there's written explanations as to why I decided on certain things. I did really well last week on there if you go check it out. And yeah, that's it, all right? So don't forget to follow me on Twitter, like I said, at JT_Magnum816. And I'm out, guys. Feel free to ask me questions tomorrow. I'll be around from probably like 11 a.m. up until 1 p.m. when the game starts. And then after that, I'm pretty much watching the games, all right? So peace out, guys. Later.